calling it now that Dior is going to become one of the hottest, if not the hottest luxury it brand in the marketplace within, I would say, about the next year. And this has a lot to do with the recent success that we've seen over at Miu Miu over the past few years, and the fact that Dior has decided to take a page out of Miu Miu's book. Now, we know Miu Miu is a part of Prada Group, and Prada Group, I mean, its main two brands are Prada and Miu Miu. But up until, recent years, Miu Miu wasn't, I wouldn't even call it a main brand. It was always a well-known luxury brand, but it was a very specific aesthetic. It was very pink. It was very whimsical, very crystallized, very girly, very coquette. But that kind of wasn't the vibe up until recent years. And so Miu Miu just never really took off the way all of the other luxury brands did. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that Miu Miu never had dedicated leadership. There was never a dedicated CEO, a dedicated general manager. Miuccia Prada and her husband were like co-CEOs up until 2023. So they were kind of running the brand. I think Prada Group realized that they were sitting on a gold mine with Miu Miu, that there was all this untapped potential. So they finally decided to invest in real leadership. And they brought on a very strategic hire, Benadetta Pedruzzo, who was formerly the head of eyewear at Kering Group. So, like Gucci, Bottega, like all of those brands. She was in charge of their eyewear success for about the past 5 years. But prior to her working at Kering Group, she actually worked at Bain. Now, for those of us in the corporate world, we know Bain very well. Bain, BCG, Deloitte, Accenture, McKinsey. These top consulting firms tend to kind of run our lives because companies bring in these consulting firms like Bain. They bring people in to come in and help them build out their business. They bring them in to come in and cut costs, to streamline efficiencies, and to also help them make more money. So the consultants that work for these companies work across a number of clients. And Benedetta worked in the luxury and retail sector. So Benedetta was working for, I don't know specifically the companies, but during her time at Bain, she got to see how a lot of these luxury companies become successful, what things they do to save money, what things they do to get attention, and how they are able to totally transform the performance of a brand. So she has a lot of insider knowledge that the average industry worker wouldn't have, because typical people spend, several years at one company or one brand and then they move on to the next. But she was able to get exposure to a lot more different brands in a very short period of time during her time at Bain. So she knows how to make a brand successful. And that is exactly what she did at Miu Miu. She was like, how do I gain notoriety? And it is by two different ways. It's having viral products and working with celebrities and influencers. So that is exactly what she did. Cut to the ultra mini skirt that we could not escape, right? We are still talking about it to this day. This teeny tiny little schoolgirl mini skirt that we couldn't escape. We saw it everywhere because of influencers. Now, if I were to get like a look into Miu Miu's financial performance, I don't think that skirt was actually a very big seller, but I think it was something that visually we saw a lot because it was either loaned to or gifted to a lot of influencers. And because Miu Miu is still a luxury brand, they were happy to wear it, right? And also, influencers are always happy to wear something that's different. They're happy to wear something that gets engagement, that gets a lot of likes, comments, things that even can create controversy because you get more engagement on your content when you do that. So influencers were very excited to wear this ultra mini skirt because it was different and it was causing a buzz. So their engagement on their posts was going up. So they were seeing success from wearing these Prada items too. Another item that we saw that created like a lot of like buzz and controversy were like the little Miu Miu undies, the little silky undies. I mean, let's be real. You and I are not buying silky undies to show at the top of our clothing. I would not do that unless you are like a super trendy it girl. And then in that case, you're probably an influencer, probably got gifted to you anyway. I think these are items that were, again, gifted and loaned for like celebrity influencer campaigns, but they were not things that actually caused a lot of purchases. And Miu Miu also got really wise, again, from Benedetta's experience. And she was like, how do we get into the eyes of viewers, of consumers? And it's by working with very important celebrities. So they have done partnerships and ambassadorships with Emily Ratajkowski, Sydney Sweeney. I mean, you cannot pick two bigger like it girls. So Benedetta really did some good work here, making sure that wherever consumers were looking, we were seeing Prada. But Benedetta also knows that the things that are very popular are what gets the eyes on you, but they are not what make the sale. And so we've seen from financial reports that Miu Miu has had skyrocketing sales. The most recent Q3 report from Prada Group shows that Miu Miu had 105% growth in Q3 of 2024, and they've had over 90% growth year over year, which is just showing you that Miu Miu is making sales. We've also seen in terms of like searches that there's been over a 40% lift year over year in terms of searches for Miu Miu items on the RealReal. So people are seeking out Miu Miu. They are looking to make purchases. But if they're not buying these crazy viral items, what are they buying? It is the basics with the Miu Miu branding. Because think about it. We've seen that it girls are wearing Miu Miu everywhere, and we all kind of want to be an it girl. We all kind of want to be in the moment. We want to wear what's trending. So Miu Miu is so smart, and they have come out with so many basics, like basic sweatshirts, cardigans, t-shirts, tank tops that just have Miu Miu logos on them. And that's how they're making their sales. I guarantee it. If I were able to look into Miu Miu's performance, like deep level of what categories are selling, it's their basics. It is not these viral items. The viral items were gifted and loaned out, but people now have wanted to become part of this Miu Miu cult. And so, I mean, other than like their little like silky ballet flats that I do think a lot of people bought, but those are something with mass appeal. Those are something that the everyday person can wear. And so I just think that that's where most of the sales went. And now let's take a step back and look at like the overall luxury landscape. What is one of the top luxury brands that we have not been seeing much from lately, other than a little bit of negative press from? It's Dior. Now, the negative press I'm talking about, one is the report that one of their luxury bags costs like what, $50 to make in terms of raw materials, which is not a good look. That made headlines everywhere. So it caused a lot of doubt in terms of what people think about Dior. Also, the recent like graffiti line that we saw where Dior and Miss Dior was like spray painted all over these items. How many times did you guys see these posts on social where people are like, are the people at Dior okay? What are they doing? This spray paint aesthetic just does not resonate with the Dior customer. The Dior customer, she is sophisticated, she is elegant, she is classy, she is also trendy. But, you know, ever since like the Dior book tote came out and like the slides that came out in similar types of materials, we haven't seen much in terms of like game-changing items from Dior. And so I think Dior was like, we need to make a 180, we need to change. And so they hired Benedetta to come on and take over the brand. So good for you, Benedetta, because you have managed to make some very strategic moves from Kering to Prada up to LVMH. And now I think we are going to see Benedetta stay at LVMH for the rest of her career, and she is going to work through all of the different houses. She is going to work at Dior. She is going to work at Louis Vuitton. She is going to cause real change. And we also saw that Dior is changing strategic directions because they went from the face of Dior being the beloved, the iconic Charlize Theron, to the also beloved, but in a very different way, and also iconic, but in a very different way, Rihanna. That change showed that Dior is changing their strategy, and they are trying to become more with the times, if you will. I would hypothesize that Benedetta is going to try and apply some of the same tactics that worked very well at Miu Miu to Dior. I think we're going to see some controversial items come out, and I think we're going to see big influencer campaigns around them. I do also think she's going to challenge them to come up with more iconic styles because we know Dior is known for their handbags, and so I think she's going to be like, what's the new iconic pillar bag other than like the Lady Dior, you know, the Dior book tote? Like, what else is going to be like our top selling bag? And then I think she's going to make them also come up with other basics, things that are very accessible that the normal everyday person wants to invest in because they can wear it every day in their wardrobe. I think these are going to be changes that we see roll out slowly but surely over the next year. So I know that Benedetta, I believe, was starting sometime in October, November at Dior. So I cannot wait to see what she does to kind of breathe some more life back into Dior. Even though it's an incredible, beautiful brand, it just hasn't been doing much to kind of shake things up lately, and I think that's going to change. Now, I could be eating my words here, and I could be totally wrong, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think we should expect to see from Dior in the coming months and the next year or two? I'm very excited to see these changes. Now, if you enjoyed this video, if you learned a little something, I would really love it if you just give this video a little like. Just give a little thumbs up down in the corner below. And if you haven't already, what are you doing? You need to subscribe to my channel. So that way you can get all the latest content about all things shopping delivered straight to you. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Lily, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, everyone.